I'm going to show you some secret sauce used by professional mastering engineers like myself so that you can make tracks super loud without compromising the mix. I think you're going to be pretty impressed when you hear the results at the end of this video, and these are the steps to follow. Firstly, export your finished mix as stems. So in my case, I have a bass bus, drum bus, effects bus, instruments and vocals. I'm going to then import these into a fresh mastering session. I'm going to place a FabFilter limiter on each one of these stems. Next, I'm going to turn the FabFilter into a clipper. The settings I want for this are the attack fully round to the right, turn true peak off, the release super fast, the channel linking in here, I want that to be on 0. I also want to get the output to 0 and the oversampling to 16 times or as much as your computer can handle. I also want the all-round here to be aggressive. These settings are now in a clipper style. Make sure that you have the 1-to-1 button clicked if you are using the Pro L2. If you're using another one, it could be called Unity Gain or Gain Match. Now what this is going to do, it keeps the output the same. So if you apply some level to the input, the output will always stay the same. And what this will be doing is just shaving off the peaks or bringing down the gain of those peaks, but without affecting the level of the sound. This is a great tool because you can actually hear what the plugin is doing, the effect it's having, without getting fooled by the level. So as we add some more gain, you'll hear things start sounding a bit more compressed when you have the 1-to-1 on because you haven't got the level fooling you that it's sounding better. So what I'm going to do now is play the instrument that I've got the limiter on. I've muted everything else, and what I want to do is play the loudest section so that I can then, not really changing the sound, but I'm adding a load of level and shaving the peaks off. Let me show you what I mean. So there you have it. I have it so that if I went too far, you could hear the kick was starting to get a little bit distorted. So I brought it back down to plus 12 dB, and that way I'm streaming off around 5.6 of peak, but it's still sounding exactly the same as it did coming in because I've got the 1-to-1 feature in there. So I'm just going to go and do that with all the other files now too, so that I've got the mix sounding exactly the same as it came in, but I've just shaved all of those peaks off.
Got your eyes on me, you need it.
So now that I've taken the gain down on every single stem, what it's doing, it's now taking the peaks off so that we're getting the same sound but without those nasty sort of peaks. They're getting shaved off. You might be asking why we do this, but when you go to mastering, all of those peaks are going to be the first thing that hits the threshold on a compressor or a limiter. So by removing those stray peaks without affecting the sound, we've just cut them off. The whole track will be hitting the compressor or the limiter rather than the peaks. And so by taking those peaks off, you're gaining more headroom without affecting the sound of the mix. So now with a meter on my output, I'll show you the difference between the two. You'll notice it sounds exactly the same, but the meter is showing 2 to 3 dB less of gain. So that means we're going to be able to achieve more of that when we put a limiter on at mastering. So as you could see, we were getting 2 to 3 dB less headroom. That means as we're playing into this limiter, which is now in the mastering chain, we're going to be able to push this up and using that couple of dB of gain here, therefore getting the track 2 or 3 dBs louder than anybody else that's mastering. So that's how you get to master super loud. Now, if you want to master super easy, you need my Colorbox EQ. Check it out on the next video here, and if you want a discount, there's one in the description.